Hey, hope you're all having an amazing day. So in today's video, I'll be talking about the 3 things that I did that allowed me to make $10,000 a month inside of my business. So before we even jump right into it, here is actually my Stripe, just to show you that what I'm talking about is real, right? That I actually went through that process of going from 0 to 10K, and kind of just to show you that I'm not lying about this. There's a lot of people out on the internet. So what you're seeing right now is my Stripe. If we look at this graph over here in the kind of bottom left corner, I set the dates to December 26, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. So a full year later, basically the year 2022. And we see I made like zero money, zero, zero, zero. And then suddenly, let me switch this over to a monthly view. Suddenly I made $10,500 in December 2022. And this was the first time I made money, any money really, in online business. And the first month I did it, which is December 2022, I made $10,000. So a little bit more background context. I started my own lead generation agency in October 2022. So October. 60-ish days later, so in December, I was at $10,000. So how did I do this, right? So this is my Stripe. Again, right, I could even change the dates or something, just to, so that you know that I'm not manipulating the numbers. Let's change it to 2022, right? And we see, right? And if we change it to like a weekly view, like it really doesn't matter, right? The numbers are real. So, this is literally what happened to me, right? And the only 3 things that I did to hit $10,000 a month, this is what this video is for. So jumping right into it, what did I not do, right? What did it matter to me? And so obviously there's a lot of people online saying to do all these different things, all these crazy things. And let me tell you this, I didn't take any cold showers. I wasn't waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, just grinding and doing work. And I also wasn't meditating for 20, 30 minutes a day. Now, each of these 3 things, I'm sure they have their own benefits. And I probably have tried most of these things at one point in my life or another, but I didn't do any of these three things in order to allow me to make $10,000 a month. And I personally don't think you need to as well. So anyone who tells you you need to do these in order to make X amount of money online or to see this amount of success in business is probably just bullshitting you, right? So that's just what I want to get out of the way. Although, like I said, I'm very certain that each of these 3 things has their own benefits. So jumping right into it, the number one thing that I did, the number one thing that I focused on a day-to-day basis that allowed me to make $10,000 a month in literally the first 60-ish days of my business was generating attention. So really just waking up and asking myself, how do I get as many eyeballs as humanly possible on my business? That's literally what it comes down to. It's nothing too crazy. Don't overcomplicate it. It's literally that simple. How do I get as many people to know about who I am, what I sell, and what I offer as much as possible, right? So what this really means for my lead generation agency is how many emails would I need to send in order to make it unreasonable for me to get to $10,000 a month? Because I think one of the largest things is, especially when you're just starting out, you kind of underestimate the amount of inputs that you need in order to get your desired outputs. So when you're first starting out, it's not enough to be sending 50 emails a day. It's not enough to be sending 100 emails a day. It's probably not even enough to send 500 emails per day. But what about 1,000? What about 1,500, 2,000, 2,500? That's literally what you have to do, right? What can you do to make it unreasonable in order to hit your desired output, in which in this case is making $10,000 a month? And that's literally all I thought about on, every single day from October to December, every single day. What can I do to maximize my inputs? So that meant going out and setting up a ton of email accounts. That meant going out and setting up a ton of domains, scraping a ton of leads, and sending thousands of emails every single day, which allowed me to get thousands of eyeballs onto my business. So here's actually a picture that I found. This is my photo gallery. This is actually Snapchat that I sent to my friends when I was doing this. And we see this was a campaign that I had, and I sent 28,000 emails in a single month. And I got 100% open rates, which is just super crazy. And I got 16% reply rates. So the reason I'm pulling this up is because this is probably one of the better campaigns that I've ever sent. I think the most unique aspect was the fact that I did get 100% open rates, which is just really, really crazy, even to me, right? And I got 16% reply rates. But let me ask you, how many meetings do you think you would be booking if you sent 28,000 emails, got 100% open rates, and 16% reply rates? Well, the answer is I honestly don't know because that's how many meetings I was able to book, right? I booked so many meetings in this month. So I did this in February. So like 3 months afterwards, but so not directly allowing me to make 10K, but I made 20-ish K, 23K, I think, in February last year. And that's what I did, right? So in the month I made $20,000, I sent 28,000 emails and got these type of metrics, right? And it was just super, super crazy to me, right? And my calendar was just filled. I was taking calls from 9 to 5 every single day in my own time zone. I'm in Toronto, Canada, so in the Eastern time zone. And I was just taking back to back to back calls, which is, you know, a good problem to have because that allowed me to just sign a bunch of people, make a ton of money, take on a bunch of clients, and just grow my business in a relatively quick period of time. So that's pretty crazy. But breaking down the math, right? So this was also a campaign that I sent a couple of months ago to September 2023. I've sent a lot of campaigns over the last year now. And this is what one of the just a regular run of the mill type of campaign where I sent 21,000 emails in a single month. I got around 64% open rates. I got 1,000 replies. So 30% reply rates based on this. And then 67 positive replies, which were people which eventually turned into booked meetings. So let's assume I booked 50% of that. It means I booked 30 calls. This campaign, what that really meant was basically 5,000 total leads contacted. The reason why there is a bit of a variance between this picture versus that picture is because the email sequences I write, I follow up with leads 4 to 5 times, meaning 5,000 leads. If I contacted them 4 times because of the follow-ups, that's basically around 21,000. So that's the reason why there's a variance. And then almost 1,000 replies. So 1,000 divided by 5,000, that's almost a 20% reply rate. So for some reason it says 30% on Smart Lead. It's wrong, just to tell you right now. But I got almost 1,000 replies out of a campaign that I reached out to 5,000 people, right? And that was absolutely crazy. So just to put it out here, even on this chart, so I sent 5,000, I reached out to 5,000 people, completely new people, and I got 67 high intent replies, which are the positive replies. Let's assume 50% of these people actually booked a call with me. These are the 67 people which replied yes, they were interested. I want to see the video because I'm leveraging a VSL funnel inside of my cold emails. And 50% booked in. That meant 33 sales calls. And let's say I was closing a 25% closing rate, which by the way, I am not. I'm closing much, much higher. But let's assume 25% closing rate. That meant I signed 8 clients. And let's assume I did $2,000 setup fee, which is actually on the lower end because my general rates is between $2,500 and $4,000 as a setup fee. But let's assume $2,000. That meant I made $16,000 from just signing on new clients. And this doesn't even include the fact that I was making money from my existing clients because a lot of my deals are performance related, meaning the more calls I generate, the more money I make. Every single call I generate them for my clients, I'm making $250, $300, that type of thing. So in this month alone, I made $16,000 off of just signing 8 clients. And these are all highly conservative numbers. Obviously for me, I've been in the game for a while now. So my numbers are obviously higher, right? I'm closing deals at a higher rate than 25% closing rate, for example. But that's just to show you how easy it is to get to $10,000 per month simply by just learning and understanding how to generate the most attention as humanly possible, how to get as many eyeballs as possible onto your business. It's pretty simple, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Step 2, the second thing that I focused on that I spent all my time thinking about was posting content and just existing online. Because let me tell you this, because we're using cold emails to outreach to new leads, to outreach to potential clients, they will automatically group you into the bucket of a scammer because they don't know you, right? Like they legitimately do not know who you are. So if someone reached out to you, you never heard of them, you don't know their name, and they're trying to tell you that they'll do XYZ, it's only common sense that kind of like red flags or I guess yellow flags will go off inside your mind and you're going to start being very cautious because you don't want to get scammed. Again, there's a ton of people out here on the internet saying a bunch of different things. You never know. So how do we actively combat this? And knowing that the people we reach out to will automatically assume that we are scammers. Well, the answer is we have to kind of do an inversion training type of exercise. What could we do that the average scammer would not do? Well, let me tell you this. The average scammer is probably not going to make YouTube videos. the average scammer is probably not likely to exist online if you search up their name. Now, obviously, there are cases where they do, but the average person who's trying to just scam people and get some quick money, they're not gonna put in all that effort to pump out different YouTube videos and do all of this stuff, right? So the question is, do you exist online? If I received an email from a guy called John Smith, the number one thing I would do, assuming that email resonates and is actually interesting to me, is I would search up on Google, John Smith. The second thing I would do is search up the domain that I received the cold email from and see if they have a website. Search them up on LinkedIn. Those are the first three things that I would do, and those are the first three things that your prospects would do as well when they get a cold email from you that's interesting and that piques their interest. So the question is, do you exist online? This is a picture of my YouTube. I'm actually just gonna pull this up, right? This is my own YouTube channel, right? And obviously now you're watching this video, it's probably on YouTube. It's grown quite significantly over the last few months. So thank you guys if you're watching that, but that's a side note. But as you can see from the dates, I started uploading videos back in October 2022, literally when I started making my business, when I started my business for the first time, right? And 4 views, right? 32 views, very, very low amount of views, but I was still posting it. And obviously I made some of these videos unlisted now because quite frankly, they were just pretty bad. But the reason I still had them, even though they were bad, was because most scammers would not put in the effort to make videos like this, right? Across the month of October, I uploaded 3 videos. November, I uploaded 1 video. This is my VSL. December, I uploaded 2 videos. Now, obviously, if I could go back, one of the biggest things I would do differently is I would have posted more YouTubes at higher frequency and just do it better. But obviously, I didn't know, and I was just first getting started, and it still got the job done. I still made $10,000. So obviously, I still made money. But if I could go back, I would make more videos, right? Look at all these videos that I have published over the first few months of my business. Now, obviously, right now, I'm posting videos at a much more consistent basis, much higher quality. But in the beginning, I was still putting videos out there, right? Talking about my business, talking about cold emails, talking about all these type of things. And if I'm sending my VSL to people, because again, I'm leveraging my VSL funnel and I'm posting on YouTube, I'm sending them a YouTube link. What will happen is, let's say someone watches a video, the very first thing they will do is they'll click into your channel. And if they see a bunch of different videos of you talking about related content, about the business, then it's gonna work, right? It just creates a lot of credibility and authenticity with people who just don't know who you are, because that's the key thing. People don't know who you are. And even before I upload to YouTube, obviously this video right here is my actually first VSL that I used for my cold outreach, which is why I got so many views. But before I uploaded to YouTube, I actually uploaded it to Loom, right? So it's a 13-minute video. I posted this on November 22nd, 2022. And when I was first sending my cold emails, I would redirect people to this Loom video, right? And that's how it got 121 views on my Loom. But in knowing what I know now, obviously I would move it onto YouTube, which is what I did eventually anyways, that I moved 5 days later onto YouTube, because there is that aspect where as you post more videos, people could check those out and it just adds more credibility. You're not really able to do that on Loom, because if you send a Loom video, you can't just click under the person's name and see all these other videos, but you can on YouTube. I also did LinkedIn, right? So this is my LinkedIn profile. And as you can see, right, it's not some crazy profile, but I just went out of my way to fill it out, right? I have a picture of myself. I have some pictures here. I have a headline. If you go down, you see some featured posts, which are more content, by the way, a large aspect of number 2, which is posting content so that you can nurture your audience and showcase your expertise and your authority. I have a description about what we do and some experience, nothing even too crazy. This is all stuff that you could do within the next hour, right? But all of this goes a super long way towards just building up your credibility. Again, the number one thing you have to understand is the people you reach out to, they do not know who you are, they do not trust you, and they will automatically think you are a scammer, and it's up to you to prove otherwise. So always keep that in mind and do whatever scammers will not be willing to do. That's basically what the second point is, which is posting content and existing online. Now, finally, the third aspect was sales. Because once you get past the initial aspects, the writing cold emails, scraping lists, building a landing page, building a LinkedIn, posting YouTube videos, the thing that will most likely take up the most amount of time on your day-to-day basis, especially if you are running a lead generation agency, is sales. And it only makes sense, right? If you're writing these really good cold emails, you're doing everything right, you will get a lot of sales calls. For me, on any given day. I was booking between 3 and I'd say 5 or 6 sales calls. So I was spending the majority of my time doing sales. And obviously I was also at school. I was doing university. I was in my last year. I was studying business in a university in Toronto, Canada. But that's besides the point. So I spent the most of my time in the business doing sales, taking sales calls, asking different questions to different people, to these business owners, seeing if I could actually help them. And obviously, as a complete beginner, if you've never taken a single sales call, it's not something where you just get good at right away. And I'd be lying to you if I said the very first sales call that you will ever take is going to be the one that you close that makes you $3,000 in a single call, right? It's very unlikely that happens, just super, super unlikely. It could happen. It's just super unlikely. And I don't want to mislead you by telling you that's what's going to happen. But what you need to focus on is taking as many sales calls as you humanly can, right? And really asking yourself, how many sales calls would you need to take, would you need to just show up on in order to make it unreasonable for you not to sign clients? And it's very similar back to the email thing, which is step one, is how many sales calls is after a while, even if you're a complete rookie, you've never taken a single sales call, you're pretty bad at sales, quite frankly. If you were able to take 20 sales calls, you're probably still going to be able to close one. Right now, obviously, if you're really good at sales, you might only need 3 or 4 calls to close one deal. But if you're really bad, maybe you need 10, maybe you need 15, maybe you need 20, maybe you need 30 sales calls. I guarantee if you were able to get 30 sales calls for your business, even if you've never taken a single sales call, you will close at least one person. The math just works in your favor. And that's exactly what you want to ask yourself, right? So that's basically what it is. So I have my calendar link, which I'm going to open up right now inside this tab. And this was my calendar from the month of January to February 2023, right? So obviously this was my calendar, so you see a bunch of stuff. But all of these aqua things that you see on my Google Calendar, they are sales calls, right? And obviously they're legit, right? Like you see people, these are business owners, stuff like that. And I was just filling up my calendar, right? So I don't even know how many sales calls this was. Look, this week has a lot of sales calls. This week, first week of February or second week of February, I have a lot of sales calls. Third week of February, a lot of sales calls. Last week of February, filled sales calls. And again, right, these are like legitimate sales calls. And that's my point, right? Is if you are filling your calendar just like this, there is no way that you don't close clients. You don't need to close 20 people, 20 clients in order to make $10,000 a month. You don't need that. If you're closing clients for even $2,000 setup fee, you only need 5 people, right? You're saying you can't close 5 people if I don't know how many sales calls this is, but let's assume I was booking 20 sales calls a week times 4, that's 80 sales calls. You're saying you can't close 5 people if you're taking 80 sales calls in a month. The math just works in your favor, and that's the honest truth, right? You have to do and think about it from the angle of what can I do to make it unreasonable for me to not get the output, which in this case is getting to $10,000 a month. So that's my calendar, right? And as you can see, so November 3rd, 2022, this is probably one of the first sales calls I've ever taken at my own lead generation agency, because I started my business probably like 2 or 3 weeks earlier. And then I was warming up the emails, learning how to write cold emails, all of that stuff. And we see I took a sales call at 9 a.m. That's me over there. And then we see on December 6th, 2022, so like basically a month after this first picture, from cold emails alone, I booked 11 sales calls in the next 4 days of, I guess, this week, right? And we see this email saying, hey, thanks for your quick reply. Let's do 7 p.m. On December 7th, right? So I was just booking a lot of sales calls, and honestly, that was what allowed me to get to $10,000 a month in a relatively quick period of time. There's no secrets here. It's not rocket science. And it's really just focusing on what can I do to make it unreasonable for me not to get the output that I desire. And I say that over and over again, because that was the mindset shift that I needed that allowed me to see success in my business so quickly. And even till today, whenever I feel stuck, I still think about that question, which is the inversion thinking model. Last month, I made $50,000 in my business. I'm trying to get to 100,000. What do I need to do to make it unreasonable for me not to scale from 50 to $100,000 in a single month, right? I'm asking those type of questions, and the answers that I get from that is what I'm actively doing on a day-to-day basis. So that's basically the video. One final thing, I also found this picture that I found in my phone photo gallery is around this time last year, so around January to February, over there at the back, right? So I actually removed it now, but I used to have this pin board that I got off IKEA, and I bought this whiteboard that I bought on Amazon, and I just wrote what moves the needle forward inside of my business. And I wrote 4 things. Number one is testing copy, because obviously we're sending emails and you're not just spamming people, right? So you're not just sending a million emails that are just random words, because that's obviously not going to work. You're testing different copies, writing cold emails effectively, writing it with good frameworks, getting your message across in a very clear and direct way. So testing different forms of copy until you understand just what works and what doesn't. The second one is obviously outreach messages, which I don't know, it's pretty stupid because it seems like it's the same as testing copy, right? But then third is sales. So one of the things I mentioned, and fourth is content, which is also one of the things I mentioned. So I'm not even like BSing you when I say these are the three things that I focused on in order that allowed me to get to $10,000 a month, because I even wrote this out on the whiteboard, and every single day I would wake up, I'll look at this whenever I was just chilling and I was feeling a little bit lost, uncertain as to what my next step was. I looked at this and I reverted back to what can I do to test more content? What can I do to send more outreach messages? What can I do to get better at sales, get more sales calls? What can I do to put more content out there? So that's basically it. Those are the three things that allowed me, that I did every single day, that allowed me to make my first $10,000 a month. Again, this stuff isn't rocket science, and anyone online who tells you it's super hard is just lying to you. The truth is $10,000 a month is the benchmark. It's kind of the bare minimum. It's not that hard to get to $10,000 a month, and that's from me. That's my personal opinion. If I understand if you're making much less than that, $10,000 per month is the goal. But the truth is it's really not that hard. If you focus all your efforts into generating attention, into nurturing your people and getting good at sales, then it's kind of inevitable that you get to $10,000 per month. The math just kind of math, right? It works in your favor. But that's about it in this video. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. If you want more additional help, so if you are building your own lead generation agency, obviously I put a lot of YouTube videos online with the goal of helping people, giving as much value as I humanly can. But if you want to get to $10,000 per month in the next 90 days, then I included a link to my calendar down below where you can set up a call, and on that call, I'll personally see if there's a fit, if I can help you, what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve, all of that stuff. So if you are interested in working with me directly one-on-one, then set up a call with the calendar down below. But if that's not something that you're interested in, no worries. Just continue grinding the YouTube videos. You will make money from the YouTube videos I put out. It just might take you a little bit longer, because as you're going through the process, you might have questions, you might get stuck somewhere, and you're not really going to have a resource that would give you the answer. You're just gonna have to, in a way, just figure it out on your own. But if you want to just accelerate your journey, then set up a call with me in the link down below, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya. Bye-bye.